It's Arde Teronen from Temple Balls. I'm the next guest on Tales Behind the Talent. Check it out.
This episode of the Tales Behind the Talent is sponsored by Avain Language Services. If you need proofreading of English texts, translations between Swedish, English and Finnish, or private teaching in Swedish and English, please do not hesitate to contact avainservices@gmail.com. Hello there, dear listener, and welcome to the second interview of the Tales Behind the Talent. And this time, as my guest, I have Arde from Temple Balls, and I'm gonna give the gentleman the chance to introduce himself. So, here you go.
Hey, thanks for asking me here to chat with you. And I'm Arde Teronen, the lead singer of the band called Temple Balls. And I joined the band in 2014, I suppose that's the correct year.
Yeah. So you've been there for 7 years almost.
Yeah. Almost. I think the first show I did was with when we opened for 09.
Yeah.
At 45 Special in Oulu.
Legendary place and legendary
precisely.
band.
Yeah. I think it was in July, if I remember. If I'm completely mistaken, I think it was July 2014. But during the first quarter of the year, I kind of already had joined the band, and we did rehearse back then already.
Yeah. So let's get down to business and the idea of the podcast, kind of. So, how did you get introduced to music? At what age, and what kind of music was it? Because I think it's personal for everybody how it's done.
Yeah, precisely. That's true. I got introduced to music when I was really just a little boy. I think I was somewhere around 3 or 4 years old when I got introduced bands like the Eagles, Stray Cats, Free, Bad Company, and also like Santana and all those classic rock, blues rock mainly. My dad and mother used to listen to a lot of like old school rock and roll and blues rock and folk rock.
Okay.
So yeah.
So did your parents have the same taste in music, or?
No, I think my mother has had more of a maybe like the taste was in the 80s or 90s music, but like mainly like how would you say it? Finnish Schlager.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. And also like bands like Deep Purple and Bon Jovi and that stuff. But my dad, he used to listen to a lot of bands like Steve Miller Band, and he introduced me Thin Lizzy and Stray Cats, all sorts of really classic rock bands. Bad Company, like I mentioned before, but yeah, those bands were in my life during the early years.
So how did it start for you? Like at what point did you start to think that music would be something that you would like to do?
I think the idea of being a singer didn't occur to me in the first place. I love to sing and love to make music, although I only knew like 3 chords on guitar.
Yeah.
When I started my first band with with my neighbor or my neighbors, if I may say. Yeah, I think we were approximately 7 or 8 years old. We put a band together, and the band was called High Flames.
High Flames. Okay.
Yeah, High Flames. That was the band's name. Yeah.
In
And,
English or?
In English. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. High Flames. Yeah. Yeah. We actually had a banner as well.
Okay.
Made by ourselves, and yeah, we had like 3 songs.
3 songs. Okay.
Yeah, and those 3 songs had 3 chords each.
So around what age was this?
7 or 8. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was 2001.
Okay, so
probably.
quite
So like 20 years ago.
quite early on in your life.
Almost, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask this question with every guest, I think, and it's did you start to play music yourself? Was it your kind of your own thing, or was it someone who like pushed you towards it, that decided that okay, Arde is gonna play music now?
I think I started by myself, but I think there were there was a little push from the side from my neighbors. You know, my best friend's dad was a musician,
Okay.
still is,
Yeah.
and he played keyboards and keyboard and like every other instrument as well, but he's mainly a keyboardist. He used to be a key player for Niko Ahvonen band, and on those various lineups he had back in the days. So I think that had some sort of effect of why I wanted to be a musician, because I saw it was such a cool thing to do, you know,
Yeah.
to learn something, create something by yourself, and get to like make something original. And also at that point we of course didn't know much about song structures and all with my bandmates back then, but you know, we kind of rehearsed by listening Led Zeppelin, and my friend's dad used to teach us some riffs or just show us those riffs or like something else, maybe a drum beat or something, when we weren't like able to figure it out by ourselves.
So he was a kind of a mentor figure.
Yeah, sure.
There.
Yeah, he was totally. He actually recorded those songs we had.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if he still has those anywhere. But I'd totally love to hear those.
So was it around the time that would be done like old school, with old school systems, not with a computer? I guess.
Well, actually, I think it was done with a computer, but I'm not sure if we actually had like multiple microphones for the recording, especially recording of the drums and all the instruments.
Yeah.
I think it was all done with one mic or something like that. Yeah.
But if you would hear it, you would get the idea of what was going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I asked that question because I have no idea when it was as easy as, for example, recording this podcast.
Yeah,
by
right.
using a laptop.
I think it was a lot of hard work still. Back
so
back in the day.
He really
it wasn't this simple as we have these developed systems right now. So
yeah. So he really kind of put an effort to supporting you guys and
totally
making a memory out of what you were doing.
Oh yeah, definitely
really
making our like I think we were kind of happy to get to like listen to our product.
Yeah.
Well, as years went by, we actually didn't have a single show.
Yeah.
And the band kind of stopped after like maybe 2 years or something. But we still, jammed together. Actually, the drummer who would play with us actually had a band with me later on in our lives. I was in a band called Chicken.
Okay.
The name came from Chaco Pastorius' song titled Chicken.
Okay.
So the drummer Rudy was my bandmate. Like later in my life, we met each other through that one friend, my neighbor, as kids, and then I think there was like a gap of 5 or 8 years that we didn't actually see each other that much.
Okay.
And then like all of a sudden we were planning a new band and all that stuff. So that was kind of nice to, come a full circle somehow.
Yeah. To meet again in a different point of life. And
Totally. Yeah. That's
so
exactly what I mean.
Actually, related to that, I was gonna ask, like, have you always been enthusiastic about music, or was there a kind of a gap or a break from it?
Oh yeah, there was totally a big gap at some point, because I was nuts about sports.
Yeah.
I was practicing taekwondo, and also I played football like soccer, to be to be exact. And I did a lot of sports stuff, and I was going to be like a full on budo guy, but then I found out that music might suit me better after all. So yeah, I think I played and sang at the same time. I like did that sports stuff, but that sports stuff was taking like a huge amount of my like everyday life. So I just realized that the music was kind of getting too much into the background, and I didn't want to do that anymore.
So you kind of had a sporty way of finding out that music might be your thing more than.
Yeah. I wasn't like, I was encouraged to do sports a lot, because I think that especially my parents like didn't find it to be like productive enough, like in music, if I wanted to make a living out of it. That wasn't like that. I think that was kind of like old school thinking.
But sports was.
Like, sports was sports was like a real job. But they like at least my mom supported me a lot. Like she would later on drive me to the band rehearsals, and also she drove me to the sports stuff. But mainly like she was super supportive at some point when she realized that I really wanted to push forward with the music stuff.
Yeah. So right now you're a vocalist, but if I remember correctly, you're also been playing bass at some point.
Yeah, actually was. That was when my like if I may say that, my first real band was founded. I started as a vocalist on that band, but later on our bass player would quit, and then we were kind of in a position where we didn't want to get too many like other people involved in the band. So I think it was our guitarist's idea that I should probably try to play bass at the same time I was singing, and actually I kind of sucked really big time in the first place. But then I rehearsed a lot. I was really like starting to be really good at playing bass, and but then as the years went on, like and the songs were kind of harder and harder, and it was quite like obvious that I didn't want to. Lack of the focus on the singing side. So that's probably why I would like quit that thing. Of course, I like to play by myself, and on some like jamming nights with my friends and that stuff. But I don't. And of course, when I write something like songs, do some demos, I still love to play bass. But yeah.
Yeah, for me it's like right next to you is my bass in my apartment. Nice. And for me it's I have been thinking about getting lessons for the start, because there's a certain limit what you can do with your own knowledge. Of course you have the internet and everything, but
sure, but it's a lot of more hard work, because there's no one like pointing you your like the mistakes you're making, and that's important, like on the early process of learning something new. As someone gives you feedback, not like shitload of negative feedback, but like really supportive,
constructive feedback.
Yeah, constructive feedback, exactly. I think that's super important. Like whatever the matter is that you're trying to like put effort into.
As a teacher, I totally agree that evaluation, encouragement, and feedback is really important when learning. Yeah,
especially when you're a kid. Yeah, because kids, if you're too harsh on kids, they might like end up quitting too early before they actually learn something new. Yeah, I think that's super important. That's probably also one of the reasons why I would quit sports, because I wasn't getting too much like
positive feedback, or
feedback or support, encouragement maybe. I think that was one of the reasons why I would also like skip being a sports guy. And
for me it was kind of I played guitar when I was 7 or something, but I got really frustrated, and it was none of the fault of the teacher. He was really good, but I just couldn't concentrate.
Yeah, and that's usually that also happened to me when I started to play guitar. I didn't like learn anything because I was too like my focus was somewhere else all the time.
I've been noticing that now that I've been doing that by myself. I've been noticing the same things, that I really just like put effort in the things that I like, and not the ones that are hard, like that would be beneficial, like learning chords, learning music theory and everything. Yeah. But with sports, you were saying that you had a kind of a lack of encouragement, and I think that for me it was the same thing, because I played football, and around the age 15 things suddenly got serious. And it wasn't like boys playing in the field. After that we were like, okay, you're in team A, you're in team B, and if you want to be a good player, you have to be in team A, and
so you gotta push forward even more than before.
So when you were in Shiraz Lane, that was your first, like you said, like real band.
No, actually that was Guild of Passion, the first band I played bass and was a vocalist of. But then, Guild of Passion would quit around 2013, and then I was a bass player for Shiraz Lane for about a year or so.
Okay. So
I was in in 3 bands at the same time.
Okay.
So I had Chicken, I had Shiraz Lane, and then I would have Temple Balls.
Yeah.
So that was kind
A
of
lot of
too
work.
much, and also every band was rehearsing like in different cities, so
Yeah.
it
So
was pretty much work to do, and like I couldn't focus enough on things, so I had to like make up my mind to like to know what I really wanted to do and
yeah.
all that stuff.
And did you find out that it was vocals at that point?
Yeah, at that point, I figured that it must be the thing, and I would love to do a couple shows with like just playing bass. That would be fun for a change. I wouldn't mind like playing some maybe some cover gigs or tribute gigs. That
Wedding
would be
gigs.
nice. Huh?
Wedding gigs.
Yeah, probably something like that. Something like that, but that would be nice to get to do that kind of stuff as well.
But when you've been doing vocals, have you been doing lessons from the start, or was it something that happened later on?
Yeah, I took vocal lessons when I was probably 14 up to 16, maybe 14 up to 17, maybe. And then I would quit because I don't know, I had to just too much to do. I was working, then I had school and 3 bands, and I was trying to see my friends at the same time. So, it was kind of too. I always tend to have too much stuff to do at once. But I'm kind of sad actually that I gave up those lessons because I think I could be even better if I was like learning throughout these years. But then again, I just learned by myself a lot of stuff, and also I had great tips from other singers from bands that we toured together with, and that sort of stuff. And a couple of years back, I took a few lessons from Noora Louhimo, the singer of Battle Beast, and I've been looking for a new vocal teacher, but I'm really lazy about that. I should be more interested into that, but then I just suddenly dropped the idea, and
it's
then
something that you should do, but
there's
something in your head saying that.
I know that I'm able to do a lot of stuff, but there's always room for new like improvements.
Of course, yeah.
So I know that really well, that I should keep on taking those lessons and all that stuff, but it's really hard, especially when the timetable, all the schedules are kind of tight at the moment, so it's hard to fit in the schedule. Like especially when I wanted to, I would like to keep that in the schedule on the same precise day and same precise time, and that's always like seems like an impossible thing to do.
Yeah, to have like a regular pace to it.
Yeah.
Regular, yeah.
Exactly.
How did you end up in Temple Balls? You're from, to all the listeners, Temple Balls is a band from Oulu, where we are at the moment, but you're from southern Finland yourself. So how did you end up actually as the vocalist of Temple Balls?
That's a funny story. Me and our guitarist Niko Vuorela, who also happened to be in Temple Balls, and also on the band we had before, which was called Guild of Passion.
Yeah.
And I think that was approximately about 10 years ago when we participated on the band competition. The finals or the semifinals took place in Seinäjoki, Finland, and that would be the place where we met the guys from Temple Balls. We were like competing against against others, each others, and that was the moment when we first met the guys from Temple Balls. It had a different lineup back then, of course, but we just hung out with them, with the guys, and had a few beers.
Yeah,
we were underage though, of course. Yeah, and then we had a soccer match
against them.
Yeah, against them. It was Guild of Passion versus Temple Balls. I really can't remember who won.
Okay.
I can't remember shit about that.
Okay. But you met the guys there, and
then there was we saw the guys would meet us every time they went to see some bands in Helsinki, for example.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that was also the time when we were living in Nurmijärvi, which is quite near to Helsinki, and we would get together every time they hit the road and came to Helsinki, and we would have some beers, maybe went to see some shows together and all that stuff. And then they found out that Guild of Passion was kind of ditched
okay.
already, and or we didn't have any shows or whatsoever. And then the guys were planning on a new lineup, and and they just called me that if I wanted to give it a shot and to come to rehearse with them, to meet our manager Elmo, and just to give it a shot. We didn't actually I think that we actually didn't agree that I was in a band until we signed our first management deal.
Okay.
So I did a lot of shows before that already.
So how much time did pass like between that and
well, not that much, but I think it was like maybe a year or so.
Okay.
I cannot remember precisely when was it, but I remember doing some shows before making that management deal and any other deals, for example, like booking agency deals and all that stuff. We had to sell our own shows in the first place when I joined the band, so that was a lot of emailing.
Of course, yeah.
To people, yeah.
So after that, when did it start to kind of feel like it's paying off? Everything is paying off.
Of course, like memory-wise, like experience-wise, it has paid off like since the beginning of the whole circus. And I think every show we have made, I think they're like in the back of my head for the rest of my life. So at least from that side, it has paid off quite a bit. And it just keeps on growing, you know. Every after every show and every album release, and every video or whatsoever, whatever we do, it just keeps on going. We're getting a lot of new fans on each record we've released and that stuff.
How did it feel like? At least at first, you were yourself living in southern Finland, and then you started coming to Oulu to rehearse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did it feel like doing that trip every now and then?
Well, I had to work a lot at the same time, so I had to do like 12-hour shifts from Monday to Thursday, just to get like Fridays or Saturdays off, and to get to rehearse in Oulu. So I had to work a lot during those first 4 days of the week, and it's always been like that. You like, especially like before, we didn't like have that many gigs and all that stuff, so we just had to work a lot, like day jobs and all that stuff. But now it's been like the focus has been maybe turning somehow into the band stuff more and more. Of course, we still have to, since the COVID COVID shit is happening all around the globe, and I'm not sure, like,
Okay. Yeah. But I would imagine that it's at the same time, because you're doing what you like, it's rewarding, but at the same time it's hard and tiring and
sure it is. But then again, if you're adjusted and determined to do something, I think that has a greater value, like greater value than money or whatsoever. So you just keep on doing what you love to do.
But did things get easier when you moved to Oulu, kind of band-wise?
Actually, no, I don't think so. But that has an important role of how all the things evolved during those couple of years. And I think we have been doing just fine. Like, whenever we want to rehearse, we just rehearse a lot of longer term periods. Probably like I think that mainly like people like to rehearse approximately 3 up to 4 times a week, perhaps like a couple hours, but we just do it like at once during one week or 4 days or whatsoever. We just rehearse like hell. Like, it's usually like 4 up to 7 days in Oulu, and we spent the whole time at the rehearsal place, and or doing something else, band related stuff on top of that. And it's just we just rehearse many hours per day, so it's you get the equal amount of rehearsing, but you just get to do it once a month.
Okay,
perhaps.
so it's just a intense period of rehearsing.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, there's a lot of bands who have like their members all around Finland or even abroad, and they still like manage to get it all together. And
now it's more difficult to have a member abroad, but regularly,
of course,
always. I've also heard that it's possible when you want to do it. You can find the way to do it.
Yeah. There's always, if there's a will, there's a way, as the saying goes.
This is the end of part 1 with Arde Teronen from Temple Balls. And to hear the rest of the story, please continue to part 2. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and stay safe out there.